What is a vibe? It's so funny. We talk about raising your vibe. We talk about the vibe mindset. We talk about vibe like, hey, I love your vibe. The word vibe is thrown out there, but let's have a little conversation about it because it's all too often overlooked on how valuable it is. But a lot of times people don't even know what it is. They kind of get it, but they don't focus on it enough to truly understand its power. So for example, even before I did this video, I always get riled up. I kind of move around like this. Like if you were to watch the first 10 seconds of one of these recordings, I'm kind of moving around, I'm clapping. Sometimes I'll do push-ups. I have even, no joke, if I didn't feel like I had the right vibe, I've even run back and forth in my house, back and forth from both sides of the house. Why? Because when I do that, it raises my energy, raises my frequency, raises my vibe. So when I come to speak to you on the camera like I'm doing right now, you can feel my energy. Now, I've even looked at some of my other videos where I did not do this. And you know what you will feel? You will feel the lower vibe. You'll be like, and what's funny is the vibe is contagious even through media, even through YouTube, even through a video, even though you might be an ocean away from me, you can still feel the vibe, whether it elevated or lowered, you will feel it. So this is why the vibe is so important. Your vibe is important. So let's talk about it. So one of the most crazy things I always think of when I talk about vibe is, think about how many people have said, oh yeah, I don't know what it is. I just like the vibe of this place. Okay? You love the energy. You love the frequency. You love what's happening here. You love the energy. That's what vibe is. How many times do you say, well, we were just not vibing? You're not on the same frequency. How many times have we in our lives used the term vibe and not even realized that we were using it in what it truly meant? And when you break it down, all vibe is vibration, frequency, or energy, or a combination of all three. That's all it is. But here's the thing. Why is it important? Why is this conversation I'm having with you important? It's because the vibe you give off is the vibe you get back. That's the vibe. That is the importance of the vibe. It's that simple. Don't even have to overanalyze it. So what can we do with this information? Well, the next time, let's say you go on a first date. Let's say you're nervous. Let's say you don't know how things are going to go. Let's say you don't want to say something foolish. You haven't been on a date in a while. Now all of a sudden you start getting a little anxious. You start ruminating. You start thinking the what ifs that aren't serving you well instead of the what ifs like, hey, what if this does work out? What if I marry this person? What if this is like my soulmate? Are you kidding me? What if this is just an amazing night? What if you kept it that simple and said, I just want to be in the now and just have an amazing night? If you go into that date with that lower vibe, it will be felt by that other person. And you will actually have a greater effect, not on who you are as a person, not on who you are as far as how entertaining, smart, intellectual, engaging you are, but your emotional state, your vibe, your frequency, your energy. If it's lower, they're going to feel it. And what's going to happen? You know, what do you do when you're around people that are lower vibe? You're like, hey, listen, it's getting late. It's already 7:45 at night. Yeah, exactly. And then, boom, bounce. Ever have someone go to the restroom and never come back? If you have, raise your hand. Yep. And the worst part of it is that it happened in a McDonald's parking lot or in a McDonald's. I was in the parking lot. She met me, walked in, walked out the other door. Still don't know what happened. It is what it is. Luckily for her, she parked on the other side of the restaurant. I was on one side. I'm like, wow, she must really have some bladder problems here. It wasn't my vibe. It was her vibe with her ex hadn't ended. Anyways, back to the story. So talking about vibe, what I want you to do is this. Set up a routine. Set up an awareness, first of all, as to when your vibe is high, when it's low, and have a routine as to how you're going to shift it. We all talk about shifting your vibe. Well, I told you how I shift my vibe. A lot of it that I do is I believe that our vibe is not just in our thoughts, but I feel like a lot of it's in our body. It's our energy in our body. So I say, well, what can I do with my body to move? Oftentimes I find if I sit in one spot at the computer for too long, my vibe just lowers. And so I often will get up and move. I'll either dance, I'll shuffle around, I'll do yoga, I'll just bend around, move around, jumping jacks, push-ups, not even for the workout as much as it is to just move the body, break free from whatever I was thinking about, free my mind up, let the energy flow into me so I can let it flow out through me as well. And so that is a powerful technique. And you got to find what works for you, but put it this way. Find something that does work for you and be aware, first of all, you're not feeling the vibe, raise it, have your flow as to how you're going to do it. I don't care if it's clapping for yourself. It could be turning on an 80s music. It could be grabbing a slice of food at your favorite restaurant. It could be anything. We overanalyze too much. It could be drawing a stick figure on a piece of paper. It's just freeing your mind and allowing yourself to not get caught up in the emotions of where you're at right now, but to elevate them, free them up, free your mind, free your emotions, raise that vibe. A lot of times the reason why we can't raise our vibe or elevate our emotions is because we're letting rumination, we're letting something that happened to us yesterday, the day before, we're letting our past come into our present, and then that affects our future. That's why the past, we don't have to live in the past, but we should at least be aware of the emotions of the past and not let those emotions exist in the now. You can't rewrite your past, but you certainly can say, hey, listen, I know what happened and it wasn't cool and I'm not happy about it. That's okay. And you can be, but let that emotion come, feel it, and let it continue through because you need to be in the now. You need to set the right vibe now. I want to hear your thoughts. Share them below. And hey, we got some other videos that you guys want to check out. You know where they are. You know my deal. I'm always pointing up at them. I mean, why don't you click this one. Worst comes to worst, try this one. They're both great. I mean, I did them.